Anyway, welcome back to the show, everybody. Live in Manchester, bringing you all of your latest Manchester United updates, news and information. Just as we go live, bang, bomber. Well, not quite a bomber. Man United have made what looks to be their third signing of the transfer window. Signing a new goalkeeper, Carl Darlow, obviously leaving Leeds on a free agent. Kind of rare that a player leaves Leeds and goes to United, but look, job done, second goalkeeper in. There's not much else to talk about there. It's not the big story. It's not what anyone's really bothered about, but another piece of business out of the way for Manchester United. We've got bigger things to talk about this evening. Where are the results for Edison's medical? Manchester United have somebody already lined up to replace Edison if this medical fails. Graham Bailey reporting this morning, and then Ben Jacobs later this afternoon on Manu Kone and Manchester United's interest in him. We've also got big updates on Alex Scott as well. We're obviously expecting the situation with, obviously, Santos to be sorted by the end of the day. There's a lot going down at the moment, but the big story, of course, is Carl Darlow. Wow, only joking. No, it is Edison. And Edison, obviously, having his medical today. He's in Manchester. He's in Carrington. The medical has been going on all afternoon. I seen the first report come in. It must have been late morning when I seen the first report come in. So Manchester United are going through that thorough medical to check that everything is okay with Edison before signing the player. So that's going on. Meanwhile, Manchester United are still working behind the scenes. Obviously, we've seen the deal with Santos go through, and like we said, expecting the medical to be cleared and him be an official Manchester United player this evening or tomorrow morning. My guess is tomorrow morning, to be honest. But Manchester United also getting to work behind the scenes on other targets as well. Now, Manu Kone has come up quite a lot. We've talked about him before on the show. We talked about him last year, actually. He's had a good season for Roma. Roma back in the Champions League. He's featured in the World Cup in replacement, believe it or not, for Aurelian Tchouameni on 2 occasions and shone in both of them occasions in the World Cup. Solid, strong, and is ready to make the move. Graham Bailey this morning was reporting on this and talking about the potential of this move happening. 50 million euros. And straight away, you're thinking, don't even think that that's going to be the next signing, that's going to be the marquee signing. No. Apparently, on top of this, Ben Jacobs has actually said that Manu Kone would be a replacement or alternative to Edison. So, look, that's not a definite, and we don't know how Man United are actually thinking on this, but United being prepared in case something goes wrong with Edison, I wouldn't mind Kone. If Edison doesn't work out and United are not comfortable, look, they'll make that decision. They'll be brutal, and as cruel as it sounds, we cannot afford to be making mistakes. We cannot afford to be making that type of mistake. And I'm going to keep on top of everything as it drops and get everything in as the news drops in case Edison has passed this medical today. Because if Edison passes his medical, does that mean that no talk of Kone is going to continue and carry on? This, I think, is going to be interesting now for us to watch and see what happens. Because Graham Bailey says that Kone wants to make the move to the Premier League. He feels like he's ready to go to the Premier League and actually, well, play his trade in the toughest division in the world or toughest league in the world. He's ready for that move. We've seen that he is robust enough. That game against Paraguay for France was a brutal affair, as everybody knows. It was ridiculous, in fact, the way that Paraguay went at France, but he stood his own and stood strong in that game, Kone. So he could be a potential move for Manchester United. He really could. But I don't know if it's going to happen if Edison signs. That you could also move across into the positive bracket by saying, well, if that's not the third midfielder, then there's somebody else bigger to come, even if we sign Edison. And it's not Kone. He's not big enough to obviously carry this transfer window. Like we were saying this morning, if you would have told me it's Kone, Edison and Santos, then I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a bit worried with this one. We need something a bit bigger than Kone. Now, Kone fits into the Edison sort of bracket in a way. A lot of people are saying that he's better. They've probably seen more of him. Look, they play in the same league. They're the same type of player, and I don't think United would buy one and then the other because it's very similar players. Strong, robust, can carry the ball, athletic, obviously physical, no problem at all there. And that's why these players are being earmarked for a Premier League move, because they fit the league physically and mentality-wise, I think a bit more experience under their belts, it works.
We start with a big breaking news, exclusive news of the day. Done deal, André Santos has signed his contract at Manchester United. Maybe while you are watching this video, the deal is already official, maybe not, I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not the social media manager of Manchester United, but what I can tell you is that the deal is done. Signed yesterday between clubs, today with the player. The medical yesterday was perfect, and so André Santos, new Man United player, £48 million, 2 in add-ons, 5-year contract to the player with an extra season as option for the club, and so André goes to Manchester United.
We've been saying it throughout this transfer window, midfield seems to be the priority. They could sign 2, maybe even 3 central midfielders. We do know that Casemiro has left the club. Manuel Ugarte, who we understand they would have listened to offers for, well, he suffered a really bad knee injury playing for Uruguay, so he could be out for the best part of a year, so he's not going to be going anywhere, and he's not going to be playing for Manchester United in that time, clearly because of that injury. But United are making moves in that central midfield area. André Santos is on the verge of joining from Chelsea. That deal is agreed. £48 million initial payment, £2 million performance-related add-ons, so a deal worth £50 million. He's been having a medical during this week, and so we expect that one to be completed sooner rather than later. Another player who's been having a medical as well is Edison. That is ongoing at the moment, and we understand that there's still a bit of work to do before that £38 million move from Atalanta to Manchester United is confirmed. It doesn't end there because they're looking at other players as well. Real Madrid's Aurelien Tchouameni, Bournemouth's Alex Scott, and Lille's Morocco international midfielder Ayoub Bouadi, who has impressed everyone, 18 years old, at this World Cup. And I think at the moment, the one bit of news that we do have is that Aurelien Tchouameni is still wanted by Jose Mourinho at Real Madrid, and he's expected to sign a new contract. But André Santos on his way, Edison pending, and there could be yet another midfielder coming in at United as well.
You know what? It surprises me a little bit because throughout the season, we get all these people dropping info about injuries and everything like that. And they're not saying a bloody word about this Edison stuff. It's really, really quiet. And I think there's no smoke without fire. And there's something going to drop big around Edison very, very soon. I'm absolutely convinced about it. But let's delve into the truth of what's going on here, because I think we can piece the bits together very easily and tell you what is going on with Edison, and then await, the journalists and the, maybe even Man United themselves to actually drop the truth. And we can also probably reveal why they're not telling the truth, because I think PR, the player, these things all probably are being taken into account. I got told last Sunday, so 5 days ago, I got told on Sunday that Edison has got a knee injury, a knee issue, and that person knew about it the week before. So I got told that on Sunday from somebody I really do trust. So that's what I got told. We know that a medical took place somewhere last week, because loads of people are saying it. I know United haven't confirmed it yet, but we know something happened last week, potentially in the United States, Brazil, somewhere. So we know something previously has happened. Also, I think that what we do know as well is that this meniscus injury that he had at the start of the season is something to do with the knee, right? So those are things that we all pretty much know, right? United have signed Santos ridiculously quickly. And yet Edison, he's having more tests this week. I don't think it takes a genius to figure out something's not right with Edison and Man United and these medicals. I don't think that's a huge leap of faith, right? Now, Matti Moretto this morning is saying that this deal will basically happen, right? He's saying that Edison is completing his medical tests in the next few hours, with Man United's official communication on the transfer now on the way. So it sounds like this deal's going to happen, right? Now, I'm not saying it's falling through. I think we should walk away, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but it sounds like the deal will happen now. But what we need to realise is that something has definitely gone wrong over the last week and a half, right? Now, whether the full truth will ever come out or not, there's definite strong information about previous tests, knee issues, and United wanting to run those tests again this week. That's out there, okay? It doesn't take a lot of digging. There's also definitive information that he has got a meniscus injury that he had at the start of the season. Now, Atalanta at the start of the season said he was out for 4 weeks because of inflammation of the meniscus, right? When you look up inflammation, that can be from a tear. When you look at a tear, you either have a full operation which keeps you out for 6 months, or they do some trimming of some sort of thing where he can be out for 4 weeks, which is probably what he may have had. There is an ongoing risk. There is an ongoing future risk with this injury, right? We mentioned Nabil Fekir going to Liverpool a few years ago, and they pulled out of a deal because they weren't 100% sure whether his knee was going to be okay in the future. I think it actually ended up being fine, but they still pulled out. So United have clearly got a decision to make here. I don't think the medical is going to show he's got an injury. I think the medical shows there's an issue there that might be a problem in the future. I think that's what it comes down to. And I think it comes down to whether United go, we don't want to do the deal because there might be an issue in the future, or we do want to do the deal and we'll take the risk. And I think that's where we are now. I think that is the truth. And I can't imagine when it does come out, if it does come out, the truth will be any different to that. I think it will be United are aware of this knee issue. It's flagged up in a medical. They've ran more tests again for second opinions, whatever. And they've made a decision based on that. And the decision is likely to be they're going to go ahead.